hear it too loud. Cause she talk so low. She hear it too loud.
Next.
I be talking
Next. Next.
Ooh. So this week's topic is a term that we hear a lot, narcissistic love bombing. So I was like, what is it? And how do we know if we're a part of it? And who coined the term? Like all of that was like in my head. So I found me a good little article. And I didn't know that it's actually a term used in mental health.
Narcissistic love,
Love bombing.
Well, before we get started, can we do introductions? Because we didn't introduce ourselves.
Right, because somebody was jumping in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's okay.
So welcome back to another week of Chocolate Thoughts, Chocolate Talks.
Hello, everybody.
I am Conisha. This is
Jeffrey.
And that is
Tyanna.
Hey, Tyanna. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Hey, man. I don't know what she's laughing at.
I don't know either.
Oh, okay.
She just like, oh, they coming for me. Ooh, they coming for me. No. Jeffrey don't know how to respond.
Right, because I'm like thinking, okay, I'm just looking at her thing. Okay, she's smiling more. Like, she hasn't stopped smiling yet. Like, look at our teeth, y'all.
Right. We are given pearlies.
Exactly. And before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe, right? If you're watching us on YouTube or if you're looking at our Anchor channel, you can find us on Spotify. Chocolate Talk, Chocolate Thoughts. Tell all your friends. If you have any letters or anything that you want us to discuss on the channel, we are more than happy to discuss them and give you our unadulterated opinion. Okay?
Unadulterated.
Correct.
Unadulterated.
And if you got a product that you want to share,
come on,
send it on.
Let's get an ad.
DM us and we will test your product like on live. So we appreciate that you're being here, and yeah. So we look forward to
let the listeners know what our handle is on IG.
Our handle on IG is Chocolate Thoughts. Chocolate Thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. What's our handle on the Anchor as well?
It's
Chocolate Thoughts. Thoughts. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
So you can find us there. All right, back to the topic at hand. So narcissistic love bombing. We've been hearing a lot of people use it lately. I feel like it's been a trend for the past year. Like everybody done learned a new term. But it was actually something that was used in mental health to describe emotional abuse. So I'm going to go to what love bombing is and what it isn't. So love bombing. Let's start. It's natural if you want your partner to demonstrate their affection. Small reminders, little things like that. But if it's overwhelming, when the affection seems persistent, overwhelming in the beginning of the relationship to the point it makes you feel a little bit uneasy, that is a part of, or you may be experiencing narcissistic love bombing. So let's go into it. Love bombing can be a way of establishing control over another person. Have any of you ever felt that you were in a relationship where somebody was like, oh, they're so loving, but I feel like they're trying to control me?
You know, I think I have been, but it's more like with friendships. Do you know what I'm saying? So I meet a lot of, don't you think that I meet people like that who want to shower me with their affection almost so that they can control me as far as me showing them affection or showing them only affection. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm never in a relationship. But when someone is love bombing me anyway, I just think to myself, are they going to do this the entire time? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's like I can never meet up to them. It's not because I don't love them, but we just, I guess, display love in different ways. And so for me, it's like, damn it, boom, they're doing this, they're doing that. It's like, sometimes I believe it becomes too much. But go on, I'm sorry.
No. I was leaving it open for you guys to chat. So, Tyanna, do you feel like you've ever experienced an over amount of affection in a form of love bombing?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh, okay. I have. And it was like, it just felt like kind of what you said, where the person was gifting, and it was like high-end gifts, and I would be like, whoa,
Right.
that's not how I gift. I gift sentimental, and then I started to feel less than, or I felt like I wasn't giving enough because I felt like, oh, well, then this person gave me this, and this. And then it would be like if I gave them something like a token of appreciation, they'll be like, oh, thanks for this little gift.
Oh, really?
And they'll be like, damn, that kind of hurts.
Because, and see, in my mind, I was thinking that when that happens, it kind of like you start, not say to build resentment, but it's just like you start thinking to myself, okay, what are they wanting in return? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, what this person want? Are they? Because you start feeling like, okay, this person really wants to control me because like, why they buy me this? Why they buy me that?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it was like my first boyfriend when I had started college. I came home to Cleveland.
Oh, wait. You said your first boyfriend when you started college?
Yeah, when I started college.
Okay, I got you.
yeah. So I had come home to Cleveland and he was in school in Michigan, but we met for Thanksgiving weekend and we had talked about gifts and stuff. And so then he was like, well, my Christmas gift is going to be bomb. Can't wait to give it. So cut to, we go back to school, we come back, and night before Christmas, you know this, Coogee sweater. Ooh. He got me a Coogee sweater. Now, mind you, I was all of 18 at the time.
What a Coogee?
18. And I gifted him a couple pair of boxers. And I was like, I feel so bad. I was like, why? First of all, why you give me a Coogee sweater? Why? And I was like, well, maybe it's his way of showing me he loves me. No, it was a control. Like later on, I realized like he was controlling me. He would only give me designer stuff, only give me like big gifts of affection and stuff.
So I keep you in designer clothes. I
keep you.
Yeah.
And at the time, you know, he knew that the V card was his.
I keep your hair.
Right. And it was very like, when we go to the club, you by my side, you this, you that. And I was like, yeah, but I felt uneasy and I felt uncomfortable and all that stuff. Like once I started buying it for myself, I loved it. But I never liked when somebody else gave me expensive gifts because I felt like that's not how I gift. And then I felt like the expectation.
Speak for your motherfucking self. Because I tell you, I like expensive gifts, but I'm going to give how I can. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I'm just like, I've been a person to be like, let me just be grateful. So if I've met a narcissistic love bomber girl, I'm telling you, I'm not thinking, okay, thank you. You know what I'm saying? It's not even because my whole thought on receiving something is if you give it, don't think that it's going to be anything in return. You know what I'm saying? So just know that if I give you something, I don't expect anything back.
Got it.
And so I hope you have that same perception because I don't expect anything back. And don't give me something with the expectations that, oh, Jeffrey's going to be nice because if I have to curse you out, you could have just given me a brand new car. You do something fucked up, I'm going to say, bitch, duh. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be like, oh, no, ma'am.
Right.
I'm going to say, curse you out. And if you want your keys back, I'll just drop them in your hand.
Well, then that brings up a good point. Being in or what you might consider to be a narcissistic love bombing relationship, you might cower down, but that might not be the situation at all. It might just be what you said. Hey, this person got me a nice gift, and I'm gonna still carry on like life is as it is, and I'm gonna still curse you out, and I'm gonna still be myself. And so then it makes me think like sometimes women might think they're in a situation and it's only because they've allowed it or they've changed because of the gifts that they received instead of being genuine to who they are.
I can believe it.
Yeah. That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up because I'm the type who will be like, oh my God, they got me this and now I gotta put out.
Yeah. I believe and I think that because there are people who really believe that when they give you something, then they're expecting something in return. You know, like you have the guys that date. Oh, if I take you out to this restaurant, you better be putting up later on. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And then there's also the guys who just are taking you on a nice dinner date and don't expect anything. But then the woman then thinks it's all fucked up.
But, you know, the fucked up part about it is like, imagine if you grew up and you only ate at fine restaurants anyway. You get what I'm saying? So then your mentality doesn't even go to where our mentality might go. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we go eat and stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm spending $25 on a sandwich. But then I will say we don't do that anymore. But I'm sure 10 years ago when we used to do that, it was something big. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like before it's like $25, bitch. We can buy 5 sandwiches with that. You know, that's our life. But now we go and it's like, oh, okay, that's nothing. Like, say for instance, if somebody asks me to borrow $50, I'm like, $50.
Aim higher.
Okay, and because of the fact, but now we're in a different economy, economical. Well,
Tax bracket.
thank you. Say it again.
Tax bracket.
So we're in different tax brackets, and so then we start looking at things differently.
Yeah.
So now, if somebody buys you a Louis Vuitton, it's like, okay, I can buy this myself. So it's really nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's like when somebody. Then what happens is you'll have those people who think, oh, I'm gonna get them a Louis Vuitton, and they're gonna go all crushing. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Cute. That's cute.
It'll be like, oh, I got you this bag, I got you this, and you still acting like you don't love me. And it's like, well, first of all, I didn't ask you to get the bag. So therefore, thanks.
Yeah, and secondly, I got 2 more just like it over there.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
Give me something.
So,
Give me a car.
shoot higher, boo. But yeah, so Tyanna's never had it, or it feels like she's never had love bombing. So let me go back to this wonderful argument. So it says, too good to be true. Love bombing, meaning love bombing isn't a diagnostic term, though it is used by mental health professionals to describe a form of emotional abuse. When someone love bombs you, they often shower you with excessive or overwhelming levels of affection and adoration. While that might not necessarily sound like a negative thing, the goal behind love bombing isn't always so innocent. Some common traits of love bombing include providing excessive amounts of attention, admiration, and affection. The aim of this is to make the recipient feel dependent on and obligated to the individual. Let's go a little bit deeper. It says love bombing and control. Love bombing can be a way of establishing control over another person. It can make you feel guilty, which is what I was talking about, or ungrateful if you're at odds with your partner. You might go against your initial instincts, for example, because you feel you owe it to them to do what they want. And that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So like several years back, I remember I was having an argument with my ex-husband, and it was literally the day before Valentine's Day. Now, I, for one, never celebrate the Valentine's Day, and I tell this to every partner I've had, every partner. I don't celebrate Valentine's Day. If you want to do something out the box. My favorite Valentine's Day, hands down, will be when a boyfriend of mine from college came to New York. We went and we played basketball.
Not the first boyfriend from college.
No. This is another one.
Okay.
I had a lot of boyfriends in college. I was having fun.
Amen.
But we played basketball together. We found another team at Chelsea Piers in New York. And afterwards, when we're walking back to the train, he was like, hold up a second. And I was like, oh, a magazine stand. So I'm reading magazine. He comes back with a bouquet of yellow roses because he knows, A, yellow's my favorite color. B, I like roses. That is what you call a good Valentine's Day. Everybody else since then want to take you to dinner, want to buy you gifts, want to give you candy. I'm like, that's not what I'm into. That's what my ex-husband was into. So we're arguing the night before Valentine's Day. Don't you know he coming in Valentine's Day with a diamond bracelet? I said, who is this for? You. Why? I don't celebrate. Well, I went to get you something nice. I said, you could have got it for me the day after. Because I just don't believe in Valentine's Day. But it was also, in my opinion, his way of like, oh, well, I'm going to make you feel bad for arguing with me the night before by giving you this diamond bracelet on Valentine's Day. And I was like, I don't feel bad. And I'm going to hold this attitude.
How did it look on your arm?
It was cute, but since I have sold all that shit, I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
I don't need no reminders of that nigga. So how do you guys feel about love bombing and control? Do you think that that's something?
I think that is totally a factor because it's like the ungratefulness that she's mentioned ungrateful. So it makes you think that, oh my gosh, let me not be ungrateful. And then it's funny how I have had those type of relationships, but I don't think I ever allow it in love relationship, but I allow it in interpersonal relationships like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like thinking, okay, because this bitch gets on my motherfucking nerves and she's getting on everybody got their nerves and I'm telling her off and I'm telling her how she's feeling. And then, yes, I feel bad, but then she's still here and then she's doing these different things for me. It makes me feel ungrateful because look at all this stuff. But then there's no way that I am going to let that, there's no way that I'm going to let whatever this person does go, no matter what, because I don't want them to think that they can be a narcissistic love bomber to me. Because, bitch, I'm going to take those bombs, but I'm just going to say, oh, thank you. I'm going to wear your stuff. I'm going to take your things. I'm going to be appreciative. But in no way, it's almost like a teacher's pet. So I think that teachers, for me, my love bombers are the people who try to be teachers' pets. And when somebody tries to be a teacher's pet, I immediately push myself away from those type of people because those are love bombers. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, teacher, me, watch me. Oh, I bought the teacher an apple. Oh, I'm going to clean up behind the teacher. Yeah, so that's what I see. But usually in my relationships, maybe I feel that if I see a love bomber could also be a smotherer. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, oh my gosh, I feel so smothered. And I have been in relationships where I felt smothered. And I immediately, to me, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm not thinking, like, oh my gosh, this person is a narcissistic love bomber.
Yeah.
Because they're also, those people who are smothering you are also ones to say, you never want to touch and you never want to hug. And I just want to sit here and I want to cuddle and I want to do this. Those are narcissistic love bombers. It's like, I guess that's another smothering. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, you look so wonderful. And then you turn around and say, you never tell me how good I look. How come I always tell you you look great and you never tell me how good I great? Why? You know, I went down to the store and I bought you some blah, 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 and you never pick me anything up.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
It's like the folks who are looking for something in return.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I'm going to do it for you, so hopefully you'll do it for me. And it's like, that's not how it works.
Yeah, because that's not me. You know what I'm saying? I'm
right.
gonna be me,
right.
And you be you.
And then, Tyanna, from your professional experience, what are your thoughts on love bombing and control?
It's interesting because I was thinking while you guys were talking, it was like, have I had any clients that have mentioned anything about that or showed signs or told stories that, and I was like, I haven't heard it, but I feel like that would be the hardest for any one person to detect. I think because you wouldn't initially think like, oh, somebody's giving me or showing me all this love and affection. You wouldn't think anything. You'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky. Like until you're like, okay, but then when they do the other thing, you're just like, okay, that's strange. He's acting like that. But I feel like people wouldn't put the pieces together. So for me, when people report certain things in their relationships, it was never anything like that. It would always be more of the other.
No smothering. Like people say, oh my gosh, I just feel smothered all the time. Like for me, I think that some issues, like say for instance, if somebody, a love bomber could be somebody who's trying to have a baby for someone. And it's like, oh my gosh, look what we have. Look at our love. It's like, look at this affection I'm giving you. So I'm doing this and I'm creating a child. And so that's going to keep us together. So that to me, that's like, okay, and now you're pushing somebody, but you're giving so much affection because the inside of you doesn't care about anything other than love bombing or sharing or giving the most affection to that person. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that a love bomber, a girl could be a love bomber unintentionally by saying, oh, let me do everything that this guy wants for me to do to be in this relationship. That includes threesomes. That includes doing whatever he needs. You know what I'm saying? It's like, let me be a love bomber and do everything this person wants. And then now I'm fighting and arguing with him and I'm fighting other girls because look what I done. I've done this. I've done, you know what I'm saying? Even though that might not be a narcissistic part, but like those are just different traits that are love bombing. And I never thought about that word, but like imagine the love, what we do in and out of that emotional type of abuse. You know what I'm saying? Either one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? Because then it's going to be a pattern for both of those people. Like a toxic.
It's toxic. There's another, this article goes a little bit deeper. It says, why do people love bomb? And so it talks about the emotional abuse, like all forms of abuse, is about establishing control and power over someone. It happens as part of what is called the cycle of abuse, where the love bomber attempts to develop a false sense of connection and trust early in their relationship in an effort to later control or emotionally abuse. Now it goes into something else called narcissistic personality disorder and love bombing. So the plot thickens. So we always say, oh, he's a narcissist. No, it's an actual personality disorder. I just thought it was a trait or like that was a character of a person. I didn't know it was a disorder.
That's a red flag.
Remember that? Red flags and yellow flags.
Whenever you meet them, if they're buying you all these gifts and to
Honey.
just, oh my gosh. And you know what's funny is that we hear a lot of rap songs that are basically talking about narcissistic love bombing. I'll buy you that, what do you call that? The bag?
The
Birkin?
Hermes.
I'm buying you Birkin. I'm doing you this. I'm taking you this. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Many people can have one or maybe even a few narcissistic traits, like a constant need of praise or admiration, having a sense of entitlement, or a large sense of self-importance. But that doesn't mean they are.
You have a large sense of self-importance?
No. That was just like an insider with myself.
Oh, okay.
But that doesn't mean they are narcissists.
See, I have a large sense of self-importance.
Listen.
That's why I thought maybe she smiled.
I mean, I think we all do.
But I'm not a narcissist. I'm just confident.
It's when narcissistic traits merge with long-term patterns of relationship behaviors like exploitation and manipulation that narcissistic personality disorder becomes a factor. So I think you can just love yourself and be fabulous like you do.
Thanks.
But that doesn't make you a narcissist. Because I'm all about loving yourself and speaking highly of yourself.
Correct. It's self-awareness. It's
self-awareness to the 10th power.